Kamala Harris, in her book, recently admitted that these two gentlemen helped her lose the election to Donald Trump. Yep. Kamala Harris mentions by name Andrew Tate and Myron Gaines and said that they almost single-handedly helped Kamala Harris lose the election. Now, we all know that Kamala Harris was not winning the election no matter what. But it's pretty interesting, and you'll see here, that she actually mentions their names. Check this out, bro. How Myron and Tate saved America.
Kamala Harris, in her book, stated that Andrew Tate and Myron Gaines are the reason why she didn't win. Picture of you, a picture of me, billboards, New York Times Square. I'm doing this. Everyone owes us a thank you. This is the biggest flex. Never let anybody say to you again. Next time anyone says anything to you about anything, say, listen, I affect elections, you don't. We win forever. Myron, you're a legend. You're a legend. Myron, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
Bro, that's an epic find. That's a flex.
Generational lifetime W for you two.
Yeah, no, I was actually on live and someone sent it to me and said, hey, did you know that you're mentioned in her book? And I was like, what? He was like, and he sent it to me and basically she was like, well, yeah, these two guys like took away the male vote from me and, you know, in her book and stuff. So
that's crazy, bro.
I was like, yo, this is crazy. I was like on stream and so they said it to me and I'm like, what?
Let me make this a little bit faster though, because just so we can put it 1.25.
The hell? And well, number one, you know, I was shocked they were even reading that book, but I did hear from people that she was going to release this book and that she had like some criticisms for releasing too much information, you know, which is really interesting. But yeah, dude, like it was just nuts to see. But you know, that era, you know, looking back on it, like that was the censorship era. Like that was one of the worst eras ever when it comes to censorship on the main platforms, you know, making masculinity a bad thing. It was just a completely cucked period.
Completely cucked, bro. And there was only a few of us who were riding against it. One of the things I don't like on Twitter now, because it's cool to be conservative, all these conservative bros write their long tweets about how important it is that you love your wife and you cuck to your wife and you need to love your wife. That's all they talk about. And it's just like, bro, during the actual culture war, none of you people even piped up. You all sat still and shut the fuck up and took everything because you were scared. It was only us two and maybe 2 or 3 others who were really gunning and riding and charging at the gunfire and suffering for it. Tristan and I were in Romania, which is a very corrupt country, so they caught us. Luckily, you were in America. But bro, they would have got you just the same. It was all a setup. It was all bullshit. And we were fighting against the entire matrix, the whole system, the censorship apparatus, the legal apparatus, the mainstream news. We were fighting against all of it. Just us sitting here with our big mouths. And it turns out Kamala admits that we moved the needle. That is a flex, bro.
I was like,
that's crazy, man. It is crazy. Listen, before Trump became president, the amount of censorship that was going on in this country on all these platforms, that Zuckerberg came out and said, yeah, the Biden was pressing us. Elon Musk, when he took over Twitter, renamed it X and found all this shit about accounts being suppressed and everything. Like it was like a real thing. Nobody can ever tell you that never happened. It absolutely did happen, and it's factual. Like there's facts to back it up. It's just crazy, man. YouTube even said that they were bringing back some of their controversial creators that were banned due to political speech. I mean, it was absolutely nuts.
Like at a loss for words, I was like, oh, damn. But, you know, that just goes to show, well, number one, how out of touch a lot of these, you know, Democrats or progressives or liberals are, because for years they had ostracized young men, right? If you guys remember that Gillette commercial from back in the day where there's like, oh, is this the best a man can get? And Terry Crews, that big cuck, he's over there talking about like, men need to hold men accountable, blah, blah, all this other bullshit. Like these guys don't understand that this type of content exploded in popularity because men have been ostracized from society for so long. Yep. Like women have been able to be incompetent, rude, not respect authority for literally years. And then finally, guys like us came out and said, yeah, bitches are stupid. They're like, you probably should have listened to them, right? Yep. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. You know, it's like, yeah, but it's like, it took us saying women are for people to say, you know what? You're right. Women are right. You're saying they can't drive. And people are like, wait, every time I got hit by a car, it was a female driver. These guys are right. So all we did was connect the dots to things that people already knew. And we were able to help these guys, like, you know, step up. Now, thankfully, I would argue like young men nowadays are more based on like, I'm a millennial. I know you guys are millennials too. Like our generation, it was cool to be a leftist or whatever. At least these young guys now, right? They're figuring out like, no, being on the left is
yeah.
Yeah, our generation was super.
So they are based. So where do you think the world's going? What's going to come next? We won this big victory, and I felt like we won, and in some ways we've won, but we're still kind of stuck in the mud. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you know, it's evident that we're still kind of recovering from the censorship, right? Like I'm still demonetized on YouTube, still banned on certain platforms. You guys are still doing this bullshit case, you know, and it's amazing how month after month, like you guys get your money back, then you guys get your cars back, then you guys, this case gets dropped, or this girl, you know, says, oh, you know what, I don't want to pursue this anymore. And like people still have the galls to sit there and say, oh yeah, these guys are totally guilty. It's like, dude, they would have been in jail by now if that's the case.
I never left you.
Well, not only are we not guilty, we're actually more innocent than 99% of men on the planet. If we smoked weed, we'd be in jail. If we took steroids, we'd be in jail. If we had a BDSM room like 50 Shades of Grey, the average ass normie shit all these liberals are into, we'd be in jail. We don't do anything but have kids and ignore women. So because of that, they can't bang us up. We're more innocent than 99% of men.
Yeah, there's this meme. Every time I see these on TV, I'm like, he needs his hard drive checked. He needs his hard drive checked. Your hard drive and your phone and your data is the map, the blueprint, the roadmap of everything you've done and everything you've been into for years. They have seized electronic devices from me every single year since 2022. And my 2022 laptop and phone were 4 or 5 years old.
What do you guys think about the Tate brothers, man? What do you think about them? Like, in all honesty, do you agree with them? Do you not agree with them? Do you think it's a show? Do you think it's not a show? Do you think it was fair what they were put through? You know, I don't know if you guys know Myron Games or not, but, you know, same thing with him. You know what I mean? Do you guys like him, not like him? Do you think it was, they banned him on a bunch of platforms? It's just crazy, man.
Everything I've ever done digitally has been analyzed, most recently by probably the FBI and the CIA, because Ron DeSantis stole all my electronics that I had for the last year and a half. And guess what's going to happen?
I don't think that was a good call on Ron either, man. They were coming to America to come to Florida, and Ron DeSantis says they weren't welcome here. Look, I don't know if I agree with that.
In that Florida case, I'm going to make a prediction, actually, Myron. I'm going to make a prediction. This James Uthmeyer, this Ron DeSantis, they got on the news, they had their viral moment, they 3x'd their Twitter followers, they stole from American citizens, they told me I wasn't welcome in the United States.
Yeah, that was crazy.
My grandfather fought in World War II against the Japanese. They're out of their mind. And let me make a prediction. They have all of my electronics. They've taken everything they can get their hands on. They've micro-analyzed my iCloud in my entire life. And I bet within no time, these losers are going to have to say, well, he didn't actually do anything, and look like it's because I don't do anything. You know,
it's funny because I always tell the story, right? And I won't go too far here, right? But like I always tell the story when, because I spent like a month with you guys in Romania, right? Which you guys were so gracious to open your homes up to me, which I appreciate. Yeah. I got to see when people say, oh yeah, these guys, I'm like, bruh, like they were trying to get girls out the house. What the hell are you guys talking about? Like, you know, it's just funny. But whenever they can't, you know, beat the message or they can't, you know, they don't have enough influence or whatever, they have to silence you through other means, right? And thankfully, you know, I know people criticize Trump and all this other stuff like, oh, well, he does this for Israel, he does that. I think him being in office right now is infinitely 10 times better than if Kamala had taken office. Because at least with Trump, censorship has receded a bit, right? Yeah. And now we're able to, you know, there's guys that are like blown up right now, right? Our friend Nick, he's been able to, you know, kind of take advantage of this and be able.
Talking about Nick Fuentes.
To blow up, because if we're not censored, it's very obvious that we're going to win. Because let's be honest, who gives a fuck about these on the left like Hassan and Kyle Klinsky and all these other?
Oh, Hassan. I can't stand Hassan Anabi. Oh, that dude, man. Oh.
Hey guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you like this video, please like it. And if you really like my channel, please subscribe by pressing the subscribe button. If you don't know where the subscribe button is, get the fuck out of my face.
Losers. Like these guys are not dudes that guys look at and be like, I want to be like them. No, they're like, these dudes are soft. They want to be strong. They want to be able to get girls. They want to be able to have fast cars, make money, be competent, etc., and be able to speak their mind. And unfortunately, the reason why young men don't want to be a part of the left is because number one, the left has ostracized them. Then when you look at the role models on the left, these aren't men you really want to aspire to be like, right? These guys just aren't cool.
And yeah, like a lot of people criticize Trump for a lot of his policies. There's no politician in the world who would aspire to 100% of everything I agree with unless I ran for office myself. That's not how politics works. However, when you have a candidate, it doesn't matter who it was. If you have a candidate who says, you know what, the First Amendment is going to be respected. Freedom of speech, the Constitution, that's the bedrock of America. That is one of my initial issues. I'm going to make sure everyone can talk freely. That, despite anything else that candidate might say or do, opens up the ability for us to discuss other ideas. The ideas the candidate might not like, but we can shift the Overton window further. It may only shift a foot or two with his win. However, with the complete freedom of speech and the right to discuss ideas openly, every single issue on the American table in terms of what's wrong with our country can finally be discussed, and we can shift things further. So,
and you know, it's crazy too, because like, think about it, like with Trump, right? right? He dealt with the bullshit too. The Matrix came after him.
Yeah,
After January 6th, I'll never forget, all his shit got fucking banned, taken off every platform, damn near Uber Eats. The President of the United States couldn't get Uber Eats no more, right? They banned him off every single platform. Then they tried to put him in jail. He got indicted 4 different times in 4 different jurisdictions. Okay. And then you had all these bitches come out of nowhere saying, oh, he had some, change room in a random store in the 1990s. Exactly. And then she goes on CNN, Carol was her name, if I'm not mistaken. E. Jean Carroll, exactly. And Anderson Cooper asked her, like, more about it. She's like, oh, yeah, like, doesn't have to be physical. What? What the
Oh, God, man. E. Jean Carroll, what an ugly... Boop.
Bitch, that's an element of the crime. So, right? But this is where we are, where we're in a loony world where how women feel dictates if they could push criminal charges against you. If the president isn't safe, nobody is.
Yeah. Well, actually, it depends, because if the women say, absolutely not, I'm not the victim of crime, he did absolutely nothing wrong with me, please stop calling me in for interviews, they say she's brainwashed and the man's a criminal, as in my case. So it actually doesn't matter what the woman says. It doesn't matter if she's crazy. It doesn't matter if she's, making an actual accusation. It doesn't matter if she's taking back and taking away accusations and saying the man done nothing wrong. If it's a man with that the system's got their sights on, they're pulling the trigger. It doesn't matter.
We need billboards. Myron, listen, we need billboards. Yeah. Kamala Harris, in her book, stated that Andrew Tate and Myron games are the reason why she didn't win. Picture of you, a picture of me, billboards, New York Times Square. I'm doing this. Everyone owes us a thank you.
They do, bro.
Us personally, a thank you. We got mentioned by name in her book. She owes it. The world owes us. Imagine her right now with her cackling and her pantsuit. This would be an insufferable.
You said imagine her cackling in her pantsuit.
Reality. Insufferable. We saved humanity from that plague.
The thing is also, I don't think people understand the significance of this. If she came into office, we would have been cooked, bro.
Oh, and that's not just us. Years, bro.
I'd be jail. Yes, jail. Matt Gaetz, jail. Trump and his administration, including Vance and all Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh, jail. They'd all be in jail.
Bro, we'd be cooked. And then not only that, like the recession and censorship that we're kind of enjoying now, it would have got worse. Because I remember when she was campaigning, one of the things that she was saying is like, we need to bring in these social media companies a bit, right? So they would have censored way more.
Yeah.
So true, man.
It was getting out of control. It was completely crazy. And
it was really crazy. It was getting to a point where, like, you couldn't even say anything on Instagram. You couldn't say, like, you're ugly. You'd be banned, 7-day ban for being mean.
I'd be nowhere. Elon would be in jail. Twitter would be gone. Probably Chris, the CEO of Rumble, bless him, would be in jail. Rumble would be gone. And I would be nowhere. I'd have nowhere to talk.
Well, the thing is, too, Andrew, I don't know if I showed you this paper, but like Media Matters wrote this hit piece on like me, you, and a bunch of other people that make, what they call Manosphere content. But they made a hit piece on us. And that's what like kind of started the whole situation of putting us on the radar and getting us banned. I mean, for you guys, even faster, because you guys were blown up, right? And they were like, yo, we got to get this guy out of here. But the government was absolutely targeting people that had any type of what they call alt-right or far-right views, which it's crazy nowadays. If you say women are, you're considered like far-right. Right, even though it's true for a majority of them. But dude, absolutely, the government was colluding and working with these social media companies to censor us. I know for a fact they did that to you guys. I don't know if you guys want to tell them which particular politician. I'll leave that to you guys if you want to tell them that. But guys, the American government 100% was colluding with these social media companies to get rid of certain voices on the right, for sure.
Of course, because if you preach the basic tenets of masculinity, even the most basic ones, when it comes to speaking your mind and going to the gym and sticking up for yourself and using your eyes to come to your conclusions as opposed to bullshit data from the Matrix, they couldn't psyop a man who uses his eyes to come to conclusions into ignoring objective reality.
That's a Republican.
That's right. So if you push the basic tenets of masculinity, you're training people to not be slaves, and they want to make us slaves. That's it. They wanted us to sit here and say, Andrew said women can't drive, but the insurance data that we've made up and printed off in Google that says the vaccine safe says women drive better than men. And I'm supposed to sit here and say, well, every time I've seen a car hit a tree, it was a chick. Every time I get rear-ended, it's a chick. Every time I'm in a car.
I mean, is he wrong? Is he wrong? Do you really think women drivers are better than men? I doubt it.
With a woman driving, I'm terrified. And I'm supposed to believe this insurance data that they've just made up? No, I've seen with my own eyes. And that's what they don't like, that people are brave enough to use their eyes and come to conclusions. Because when you do that, then you'll say, no, that's not a woman, that's a... No, they're real, no one's falling over, everything's actually fine. No, you rigged that election, no one votes for that crap. Now you're not a slave anymore. They have to convince you to ignore your eyes and repeat what you are told so they can enslave you. So it's so crazy that us saying, come to basic conclusions based on your own life experience, go to the gym, stick up for yourself, and say what you think was seen so revolutionary. It was seen as so dangerous they had to get rid of us. Does that not show that their plans for humanity are absolutely heinous? Yeah. That you're considered a revolutionary for telling people to think for themselves?
Oh, I'll take it a step further. So when Trump was campaigning, him and JD Vance would often say on the campaign trail back in 2024, we're the party of common sense. And the fact that they campaigned on saying we have common sense tells you that common sense isn't common anymore, which is the whole problem in the first place. 99 genders, these weirdos serving in the military, not passing fitness standards, saying with pronouns, all sorts of bullshit. Like, it took the Trump administration to come in to say, we're going to restore common sense, make English the official language. Took an executive order to do that.
Yeah.
Like, imagine it took an executive order to make English the official language of this country. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here?
Next, I had to assemble all the generals, bring them to Quantico to have a talk like, look, we're going to go back to what we used to be. That's why they renamed it the Department of War, because we haven't won a war since World War II, and that was the last name when we won. So they had to come in under the premise of common sense to get votes. But the fact that they're even able to, campaign on common sense is ludicrous to me. But that just goes to show you how off the deep end we've gotten as a nation.
Well, I hope we can save it, bro, because we're still stuck in the mud a bit. But you know what we need? I need to get over there. We need to do a fresh and fit old school.
We absolutely do, man.
Bro, we need to
Dude, every day I get a message saying, yo, when's Andrew going to come back with some girls? Which is going to come back with some girls? Come on, man, blah, blah. Every day I get asked that, man. And obviously, me and you talk behind the scenes, so we know what it is. But yeah, man, whenever you guys want, you guys are always welcome to Miami. And I think we're going to break the internet if we bring one of those back.
Bro, this is so legendary. I'm gonna get the billboard sorted out. This is the biggest flex. Never let anybody say shit to you again. Next time anyone says anything about anything, say, listen, I affect elections. I affect elections. You don't. That's what I say. From
that's
now on,
crazy.
Bitch nags. When the judge tells me I have to go to jail, my last line to anybody is, I affect the American presidential election. You don't. I do. We win forever. Myron, you're a legend. You're a legend
too, bro. I mean, it's just.
Oh my God.
It's crazy because the fact that she named us by name, and this book is new, like it came out recently. That should tell you that and that was a big blunder on her end. The Democrat.
Also, if you're actually looking for the facts, it's actually on the Kamala Harris 107 days. 107 days, I think it's called. 107 something. It's on page 176.
Party in general, but the fact that she mentioned us by name definitely makes, shows, holy crap, like these guys she feels that we took voters from her. I don't think we took voters from her. I just think that she was delusional because she was not authentic. Like you guys were making fun of her before using all these different accents and shit. People just could see through that stuff. And at the end of the day, I think deep down, even women know this. No one wants a female president. Nobody wants a female president.
Of course, we have enough girl boss bullshit ruining America as it is. That's the last thing we need. But it proves all the cases against us from manufacturers. So it's going to massively help us in the future. I think it's going to be very beneficial to us. So Thank you very much, bro. We're going to move on from the subject. But I know you have a stream coming up soon. You're doing another
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be on 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it's always fun to hop on and chat with you guys, and I'll hit you on the side, and we definitely need to set something up
on your stream as well, because I'm going to talk about this forever. This is the biggest flex in history. This is hilarious.
Oh yeah, dude. Everybody, people think I'm kidding around, bro. Everybody owes us. I'm dead ass. Everyone owes us a thank you because we were instrumental in keeping her out, and there's other guys too. I'm sure that obviously told people don't vote for Kamala. There's a bunch of people on the right wing, but the fact that she mentioned us, I think that's a big deal. And then also keep in mind, we're not really political commentators like that, right? So we're not in the tradcon Christian realm. So we were able to kind of come in and bring these guys that might not necessarily be as religious or guys that might not necessarily be as politically inclined, and we told them, look, bro, you got to get out there and vote, because if you don't, even if you don't give a shit about politics, this woman's going to come in and fuck your life up.
Well, that's why all the Christian conservative bros attack us and they hate us so much, and they say, because I don't love my wife enough and all this bullshit. But it's basically because they're jealous of our influence, because they don't realize that they're not cool. They're dorks. You're dorks. Nobody wants to be a pastor and sit there all day cucking to their wife. You think you're cool when you keep talking about the Bible. Nobody listens to you. Nobody gives a fuck about you. We actually moved the needle because we're cool and we matter. And that's why a lot of people on the right wing don't like us, because they're very envious of us.
And I will say this too before I get off, and this is what kind of annoys me with this stuff. Look, being religious is great. There's nothing wrong with being religious, whether you're, Muslim, Christian, Jewish. If you're a pagan, you're a weirdo. But, regardless of what your religion is, the reality is that women have changed, right? And religion's not going to save you from these. So if guys aren't aware of how women moving into a normal, you're going to be cooked. Jesus isn't going to save you. I would argue being a devout Christian hurts you when it comes to dating women and vetting them and finding a proper wife, because you're effectively handicapped, because the Bible doesn't prepare you, unfortunately, for what modern women are now.
Testify!
Yeah, man. It's just, and these guys hate us. We're always getting, you want to be toxic like Myron Gaines and the Tate brothers and womanize, all this other bullshit. It's bro, we teach you guys this information so that you guys don't f your lives up by marrying a
yeah,
right?
literally with these girls, every single time, it's some white church boy. It's yeah, my wife came to Christ. She's changed. She didn't change for shit. You think she's changed because you believe in Jesus' power to heal and change people. Now, I believe in Jesus' power to heal and change people within limits. There's no saving some of these hoes, Myron. There's no saving some of these hoes.
It's true, man, and that's a big red pill that guys got to get over. A lot of these women, and then now the other thing that's scary is that now it's a grift. It's a way that women make money. A lot of these, they go through their OnlyFans whore arc, and then they say, oh, you know what? I'm converting to Christianity, and I'm going to be a devout. They get baptized, and then boom, forgiven. So now they have a financial incentive to sell that bullshit purity.
And how many women did that? There was a time on Instagram, I'm just, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? There was a couple of chicks that were like trying to be born again, trying to be saved. And they were like, oh, I'm baptized before I spread my legs for money. And now I'm saved. Like modern women, young modern women today are fucked. Like when there are so many poor examples. It's just, I don't know. It's not something I can even, I mean, you can't even scratch the surface with that crap, man. There's just so much wrong with how modern women think. And to be honest with you, it's kind of freaking weird, to be honest with you. All right? It really is. It really is.
Let's get money, motherfucker, get money.